This is Sheila. Her father works as a peon in the government and her mother is a housewife. They live in a small rented house in the suburbs of Mumbai. Sheila wants to become a doctor so that she can serve the society and improve the living conditions of her family. She knows that getting a medical seat at premier colleges like AIMS is tough, so she studies hard and gets a good score in NEET. But she doesn't get a medical seat as she scores 2 marks less than the cutoff. On the other hand, her friend Ajay, whose father and mother are both IAS officers, gets a medical seat despite scoring less marks than Sheila. How is that possible? Sheila wondered. Ajay belonged to a reserved category and so the cutoff was less. There has been a lot of debate on reservations in India. Reservation is absolutely necessary for the underprivileged communities who for generations did not have access to education and employment opportunities. At the same time, it is important that financial incapacity does not hamper the prospects of meritorious candidates. Critics of the EWS quota say that reservation is not a poverty alleviation program but a constitutional tool to provide representation to the historically disadvantaged communities. But reservation should not be seen just as a tool of representation. Reservation is affirmative action, which means that the state is obliged to support any person who is disadvantaged socially, educationally, or economically. For the historically, socially, and educationally backward classes, there is a provision of reservation that will allow them to climb up the socio-economic ladder. However, the economically backward, unrepresented communities have hitherto had provision to get state support. The quota for economically weaker sections aims to be that ladder of support for the financially disadvantaged who cannot get benefits under the existing reservation scheme. There is also a myth that the EWS quota will affect the existing reservations for other backward classes, scheduled castes, and scheduled tribes. This is untrue as the EWS quota is being given outside the existing reservation provided for OBCs, SCs, and STs. Central educational institutions have been told to increase the total number of seats so that EWS reservations do not eat into the number of seats available for general category applicants. The other argument put forth by naysayers of EWS is that it breaches the 50% reservation limit set by the Constitution. Any amendment has to be seen whether it violates the basic structure of the Constitution. The 50% ceiling limit is not inflexible and could be breached in exceptional circumstances. In fact, Tamil Nadu has had 69% reservation since 1990. Since the EWS quota amendment is in the interest of a larger good and uplifts the life of the economically weaker sections, it does not violate the basic structure. The other myth associated with EWS is that it is a forward class reservation. The reality is that there are many communities, including religious minorities, who will get benefited out of EWS quota. Last but not the least, critics ask if anybody who gets an annual income of 8 lakh per annum is poor. It must be noted that 8 lakh per annum, that is 66,666 rupees per month, is the highest limit and not the sole criteria. One should also take into account the purchasing power across different states. The purchasing power of Telangana could be higher than Arunachal. In order to ensure balance, the government has set 8 lakhs as the limit based on several studies. But EWS quota is not just about providing support to the economically weaker sections. The EWS quota will also help break the stigma associated with reservations, as reservation has always been related with caste and a section of the people look down upon those who come through quota. Thus, the EWS quota is also a progressive step towards a caste discrimination-less society. The EWS quota is the last piece in the puzzle to make way for a truly just reservation system that recognizes merit as well as representation.